Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. I love to see you all here, especially on a day like today. It's a special day, and if you know, I post my videos every single Sunday, and of course today is Sunday, so therefore that means it is Father's Day. So before we jump into today's video, of course, make sure you go ahead and give me a like for the video as it helps the channel grow. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications so that way you're notified whenever I upload new videos to the channel. And of course, share this with a family member or a friend. So today's video is going to be an interesting video. It's going to be something outside of the norm. As you all know, this channel focuses on all things engineering, tech, and finances. But I wanted to have a little bit of a heart-to-heart conversation, especially on a day like today, right? Today's a special day, Father's Day. And being a father myself, I think it's really, really cool that I can be a little bit reflective, think about a special day like today, and kind of give you all my thoughts and my feelings as I reflect back on being a father, being a husband, and more importantly as well, being a figure for my community out there, especially you guys who watch me every single Sunday. And maybe we'll kick it up in the future or two. We'll see how that goes. But I'm out here outside, guys. Of course, I'm enjoying a nice little cup of coffee, which is really, really awesome. And then also as well, I'll show you my view here. So here's my beautiful view. I got, you know, of course, the neighbors over here, but more importantly, you can see the beautiful flowers that my wife puts out here. And then, of course, we have the grass that I just cut, you know, not too long ago. I want to say about a day or two ago. Now, as I sit here enjoying my cup of coffee and I'm looking out and just having conversations with you guys, the fact that they say that the things in life, the simple things in life, are the best things in life, it is absolutely 100% true. I get to sit out here and enjoy this cup of coffee and also as well have a little chat with you guys, which I think is phenomenal, right? The simple things in life are the best things in life. Now, guys, one of the things that I wanted to tell you about is as I look at Father's Day, and again, happy Father's Day to my fathers out there. As I look at what my job is, I say, okay, I have to be a provider, I have to be a protector, and I have to be a friend to not only my wife and my kids, but more importantly, I always tell this to my wife, I'm a father first. I'm a father first when it comes to children. And then, you know, you and I can have conversations and be, you know, cool and stuff like that. But more importantly, I am a father first. So if that means that we need to have some serious conversations on how you behave and other things, that is something else as well. And it's funny because a lot of people will tell me all the time, they're like, hey, your kids are well behaved. Well, there's a reason why they're well behaved, is because they have a father first. But guys, in all seriousness though, one of the things that I reflected on and what I was thinking about earlier in this week is, you know, as a father and as a husband, and again, this all ties back to the money too. So of course I'm going to tie this to one of our topics in our regularly scheduled program. But as a father and a husband, I need to make sure that the household is in order. And specifically, one of the things that I had to do over the last couple of days was making sure that our vehicle had an oil change. Now, for those who are probably saying, hey, why would you at this stage of the game, making the money that we make and doing very, very well financially, why are you going to go ahead and waste your time changing the oil on the car as you're seeing on screen right now? And the reason why I'm doing that is because one of the things that I've noticed as time goes on is no one's going to take care of your things exactly like you are. When you go to these 5-minute oil change places or 3 minutes or whatever their marketing slogan is, those people tear up your car. They do not care about your vehicle at all. Most of them do, should I say. They don't care about your vehicle, and they're there in order to expand the business by scaling up very, very quickly. So what I mean by that is the more cars we get in and out the door, the more we can, of course, our prices are low, so we're going to have to do a lot of volume. We need to make sure that more cars are getting their oils changed very quickly and we get them out the door. And of course, the problem with that is that they don't take care of your vehicle. So as I bring in my vehicle into the garage and I start to, of course, lift up the vehicle because I need access under the vehicle, right? One of the things that I check is I make checks throughout the vehicle to see how things are doing. Do you need additional windshield wiper fluid? How are the windshield wipers? Do they need to be replaced? Is there anything that sticks out to me that doesn't look right in the engine bay? Right? These are the things that I'm starting to think about, and these are the things that I'm working through just to make sure that my wife and my kids are taken care of in a vehicle that will take them wherever they need to, and of course as safely as possible. So when you take your cars to these places like the Jiffy Lube, all they care about is taking out that oil drain plug. They'll take that off real quickly, let the oil drain as much as possible, and sometimes they don't even wait. And then of course they put it right back in, and then they fill it up with oil. And by the way, one of the things that I constantly see all the time that they do is they over tighten the damn plug. Why? Because they don't really care. They're in and out. They over tighten it to the point where sometimes you strip the bolt, sometimes you damage the actual case that holds the actual oil in. It's just horrendous jobs that they do. So as you see, as I work on the vehicle, I'm taking my sweet time. It takes me about an hour to change the oil, but of course it's not just the oil. I'm making sure that, again, we just talked about it, wipers are done, fluids are done. Also as well, I'm checking the filter of the car, making sure that the cabin filter is also done, both the cabin and the engine filter. On top of that as well, I'm also changing the oil filter in the car. And in this particular Highlander, I have what's called it looks like a cartridge actually. So I'm taking the cartridge out. I'm making sure that everything looks a-okay. And the reason, again, like I said, why I do that is because my job as a husband and a father, especially on Father's Day today, is to make sure that I am protecting and providing for my family. So when I say protecting, right, they need to be safe. And of course, they have a vehicle that won't break down on them. And over time, if you neglect your vehicle and you take it to these spots that tear up your car won't last. And what does that mean? That means that it costs you more money in order to repair or replace the car. And it's a bigger problem down the road financially. So as I sit here and talk about this, it's, it works hand in hand with the channel, right? Everything in life is a symbiotic relationship. Everything is tied together. And if you don't take care of things, it's going to cost you a lot of money financially as time goes on. So after I finish taking care of the vehicle to make sure that, the wife and the kids have a good vehicle to travel around in, the next item on the list, of course, is making sure everything around the house is taken care of. And one of the things that I will tell you is cutting the grass and making sure that the grass is taken care of. So that way, we don't have a bunch of problems that come with having tall grass. So as you guys see here in the video, I am of course mowing the grass, and I am making sure that the lawn looks very, very good. Now again, for where we are from a financial perspective, yeah, I can pay somebody to do the grass for me. I don't think it makes sense for me to do this all the time. But one of the things that I will say is the reason why I decided to do it is because sometimes, and especially for my folks who are in engineering, or you do a lot of work with your mind like I do, this is one of the things that I do in order to turn off my brain. Now, people don't know this, but when you work a lot mentally like I do, you need something where sometimes you're doing a task and it requires no brain power whatsoever. So this is a great task to make sure that I can go ahead and just relax mentally. So that way I can cut the grass, push a mower, and there's not much to it. That's all I am doing. And it helps me relax in some ways. And then also as well too, when I'm cutting the grass and I'm shutting my brain off in order to solve problems, what happens is I'm turning on the part of my brain at that point that allows me to be a little creative. So what are the videos that I want to tackle? What is the vision for my family going forward? What do I want to see happen with my businesses? These are the things that I start to dream about and I start to think from a visionary perspective. And mowing the grass allows me to do that, which is really cool because I don't have to sit there and solve problems like I do on a day-to-day basis from an engineering perspective. And the other thing I will say too, it gives me a sense of pride knowing that I took care of this item for my wife and she comes out here just like I do to enjoy the weather. And seeing tall grass is definitely not the thing to do. And especially in Florida, tall grass invites critters. So I'm pretty sure that a snake will come up somewhere along the line. So having the grass short prevents those critters from hanging out. So moving on from the grass. Here's the other thing that I will say, guys. Yesterday, we spent the day at what is called Universal Studios, or I think it's called Epic Universal. Anyways, it's the new park that opened up, and it seems like there's 4 worlds within this park. And the main thing that we did over there was we spent pretty much the entire day at Nintendo World. So Nintendo World, essentially, it's you go in there and you're transported into pretty much Mario. It's Mario everything, which is phenomenal, right? I grew up on this stuff. My son loves Mario, especially Mario Kart. I mean, we had a ball. Now, from the financial perspective, let's take a look at what we spent. Now, in the perspective of a family of 4, and then on top of that, we brought a guest. So we had 5 people in total. We spent a total of $1,000, a little over $1,000 just for park tickets. Just to be able to get in was a little over $1,000. Of course, it doesn't stop there. Parking was $32. Now, here's a really clever thing too. I thought it was really cool. When you go in there for parking, they say, do you want regular parking or do you want the premium parking? And then I asked, well, what the hell is the premium parking? Premium parking is an additional $6. You can get much closer to the park. So not only are you closer to the park, but you had these structures that were stood up, and these structures were where you park the car under. And the reason for that is because you actually have covered parking, meaning that you don't have to have your car sit out there in the sun and bake all day. Now, here's the other thing that I found very, very interesting. I think they had solar panels on top of those structures. So essentially, the people who are getting this premium feel, which is, hey, for an extra $6, you can be closer to the park, you can park your car under the structure so the sun doesn't hit it all day, but then they leverage it in order to have solar panels in order to power the entire park, or however, they have that structure set up. But the whole point is essentially you're paying for their power or their solar panels, which I thought was very, very funny. So we went ahead with the parking. So of course that's $32 for the regular standard, or if you wanted the, of course, extra premium parking, you got $38. So let's just say $40 for parking to round up, right? So $40 for parking, and that's it. You're finally able to park the car, you're able to get through the gates, and this is where it starts. Now, you do have access to some of the rides, which I thought was very, very interesting, but some of the other ones required some like little band that they had, which is like a power-up band, which is a separate charge. And to be honest with you, my kids were very, very small right now, so we didn't really see the value in having those power-up bands, because there's things that you have to do in the park in order to take advantage of those power-up bands. Like, for example, they have games, or they have like little blocks that you hit in order to collect coins and stuff like that. My son is 3, so he doesn't really understand that just yet, so we thought it was, not really worth it. And then my daughter, of course, she's not as big of a fan as my son is when it comes to Mario. All in right now, we're close to $1,100 between parking and the tickets. So even if we spent all this money, we still had a great time, right? There's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of different sights to see. There's interesting food that is over there. And by the way, now that I bring up food, let's talk a little bit about the food. So when we went into, they call it the Toadstool Cafe, I think is how they called it. And so when we went in there, you have to order your food on the app, which is really interesting. And then once you order your food on the app and they bring it to you, you get to sit down, of course, and eat. But when I was looking at the menu, so between all of us, again, we're 5 people, I spent $100 on food. Now that is a little expensive given that my kids were just, of course, 3 and 6. So typically when you're spending $20 per person, you're having a very, very nice meal. And the meals that they had over there were basic food. It was burgers, fries, spaghetti and marinara sauce. Like that's how basic the food was. But it was cool because they, of course, had like the Mario hat on the burger. Like, they did all kinds of things to make it known that you were in Nintendo World. And again, I share all this with you because the $20 per person is not the big deal. We were paying for the experience, so we knew that the food was going to be overpriced because of that. And that's fine with me. I am paying to give my children an awesome experience and something that they will remember in their childhood for many, many years to come. If my daughter remembers it, of course, because she is 6. Now, my son, on the other hand, he may not remember this, so that's why we have the videos. But I share all this with you guys, right, as you see the nice videos and all this other stuff, because, again, let's tie it back to the money, especially on this channel. Being a father and making sure that my children have a phenomenal experience as they grow up into adulthood, this is what we work hard for. The idea of spending $1,000 just to get into a park to enjoy yourself, I mean, shoot, coming from a background like I do, where my parents had to really get it. Like, they worked minimum wage jobs for a very long time because they immigrated here to the United States. For them to save up that kind of money, it took a long time. And so for me, right, to be in a position that I am in today, where I get to take my children and give them those experiences, that's what I live for. And that's the things that make me feel good inside. And so as I think about this Father's Day, right, and I think about all the things that come to mind of what does this day mean, my wife tells me all the time, she's like, hey, what do you want for Father's Day? And I tell her nothing, and she gets upset with me because for her, she thinks Father's Day is about giving gifts and buying something. No, it's about you taking a day to recognize yourself, in the sense that, hey, being a father and being a husband is to make sure that everybody else in my household is taken care of. And if we tie it back to a money perspective, like we always do in our channel, you're starting to see how very expensive this is. I talked earlier about, the car. You need all the tools that I use in order to change the oil. You need the parts itself, the oil. Of course, you need the oil filter. You need all the filters that I checked, the windshield wiper fluids, the windshields themselves. I mean, you're talking about $300 to $400 right there alone, because keep in mind, yes, the oil's cheap and the filters are cheap, but all the tools that I have accumulated over time in order to do the job myself, you got to buy the tools, right? You got to do all this other stuff. When I go back to cutting the grass, and we spoke about that earlier, the lawnmower didn't appear out of nowhere. I think that lawnmower cost me $300 or $400, something like that. But the point is you have to work to get yourself to the point where you can buy the tools that you need in order to continue doing the work. Same thing when it comes to spending a whole day at Super Nintendo World, or however you want to call it, Nintendo World and Epic. That right there costs a lot of money to get in there. And how do we get in there, of course? Well, it's through the work and the labor that us as men, or us as fathers, provide to give our families the best experiences possible. So anyways, guys, I can go on and on forever on this topic, but what I will tell you on this Father's Day is that I am forever grateful that I have the opportunity to see my children grow. Sometimes I catch my wife and she doesn't even see it, but I catch her smiling whenever she sees me lift up the kids, throw them up in the air, I'm playing with them, or doing all kinds of things that put a smile on her face, because she sees that, her husband and her partner is making sure that her kids are being nurtured and taken care of. That's just one of the joys of life. So I'll leave it there for now, guys, but I do want to say, of course, as always, thank you for joining me as I'm retrospective on this day, and of course thank you for staying here with me, because this is a video that's a little different from our normally scheduled program, which is of course engineering, tech, and finances. So anyways, guys, that'll do it for me. Love you all. I appreciate you all. Thank you for being here with me on this Father's Day. And if I hadn't said it enough already, all my guys out there, happy Father's Day. Love you all. I appreciate you all. Even if you're watching my content, just know that I see you and I see all the hard work that you're doing. So if nobody recognizes you in your family, which they should, but if they don't, just let you know that I recognize you. Whenever I see another dad, I know what it's like to do that hard work. And sometimes it's a thankless job, but people are watching, and I'm one of them, and I'm rooting for you. So sound off in the comments, guys. Let me know what Father's Day means to you, or if I taught you anything today, I would also appreciate hearing from you. Again, guys, I love you. I appreciate you. And one last thing before we go, make sure you go ahead and give me a like for the video, as it helps the channel grow. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications so that way you're notified whenever I upload new videos to the channel. And lastly, of course, share this with a family member or friend, especially to those who are fathers out there. Oh, and one last thing, guys, if you don't want to wait for my next video, YouTube thinks that you'll like this one popping up on screen here. So go ahead and check that out, and I will see you guys in the next video.